So sometimes you might want to buy or potentially rent pre-loved luxury items. Sometimes you just want to sell things that you no longer need. Regardless, there are several websites that enable you to do this. One of which is AirRobe, and I'm going to go through my experiences buying things from AirRobe. Now, I haven't rented anything from them, and I haven't sold anything through them, but I have personally purchased two things, being a Louis Vuitton Epi wallet here, which is a leather zippy wallet, and a Gucci scarf. And I'm going to go through how I found the experience. And in short, it was relatively easy, everything came on time, and came as described. And I have nothing negative to say about the experience that I had. However, if you have any thoughts about other websites to go to, do drop those in the comments below. Or if you're of experienced AirRobe, it would be interesting to hear your experiences as well. Regardless, while we're on this topic, it would be great if you smash the like and subscribe buttons. Regardless, in terms of AirRobe, I found AirRobe to be reasonably straightforward. It's basically a website that acts kind of like a marketplace. So effectively a marketplace website. People can list things for sale at the price that they want, and then people can potentially buy them if they'd like to do so. You can list things to rent, and you can therefore rent them out. Regardless, the seller or the person who is renting it out sets the price in question. So if they set a non-competitive price, obviously the things won't sell. And obviously if you're looking to buy something, you're going to look at what prices are competitive. Now, AirRobe is not really responsible for people setting stupid prices. That's not really their fault. It basically is going to depend on what people want to sell things for. And it's their problem if they set a stupid price. And you would obviously be looking for decent value. Now, what AirRobe is really in charge of is the user experience and how you go about actually interacting with the sellers. Now, in short, the basic way it works is like a marketplace like any other, like shopping for clothes or accessories at any other website. You can browse various things. There's a description of the state of that particular item and what condition it's in. There are various pictures of the item, and you can scroll through those and observe what it's like. So like I said, I have personally bought a Louis Vuitton Epi wallet. Now, the description for this was relatively detailed. It gave information about the condition of it, and that information basically asserted that it was close to being new. And that's basically the information I was given about it, in addition to some pictures which I could scroll through. For the Gucci scarf, again, this was advertised as being basically like new. And it had some pictures of it. And both of these were in a separate state from where I live. So there were pictures of these, and I was basically told about the condition, told about what it was like, and given some details in terms of dimensions and various other things. So in order to actually order it, you would unsurprisingly do this like in an ordinary website. There's basically a shopping cart, you would add these things to your shopping cart and then purchase it. Now, there's a couple of things to note about the purchase here. Firstly, it's not automatic, in that what AirRobe will do is it will take your order, then liaise with the seller, and then the seller will fulfill the order. Basically what will happen here is it's kind of like, say you have eBay, you make an offer and then it needs to be accepted by the seller. Same basic process here. Your purchase is effectively an offer which is then fulfilled by the seller. So there's a degree of wait time here that might arise, where AirRobe is liaising with that seller in order to get your transaction up and running. So that's one thing you do need to note. It won't necessarily be instantaneous here. The shipping is perfectly fine, but it's not going to be any slower than something like eBay, not necessarily any faster. However, you do need to bear that bit in mind. The next thing you need to bear in mind with this user experience is when you purchase something, there is a degree of buyer protection. So if, for example, you get the item and it's not as described, you would be able to be protected from that. The protection is particularly valuable for higher end items, which are priced higher, where you might be more sensitive to minor blemishes than with lower end items. Regardless, there's buyer protection if the thing is not as described. So you'll go through this process, you'll add the thing to your cart, AirRobe will then liaise with the seller in order to get your order fulfilled. The seller is then responsible for the shipping of the item. The seller will only get their money after it's effectively been gotten to you. So it's not like they get the money and then can abscond with it and you lose the money. That won't happen. So the seller will then ship the item to you. Now, in terms of the actual process, it's relatively seamless. If you've used eBay, if you've used some other store like Vestia Collective, is going to be relatively second nature to you. Now, in terms of whether the experience is any better, worse, or whatever than eBay or Vestiaire Collective, well, that's really a matter of personal preference. I personally find the experience significantly better than eBay, particularly if you were to sell things. AirRobe is going to be much better for you than eBay, because eBay is notoriously terrible if you're selling things. So any alternative to eBay is great if you're looking to sell items. That's because eBay is rife with buyers who are very disingenuous, and it makes it very difficult for sellers to really get ahead on eBay. And eBay's policies with respect of sellers are absolutely horrendous. So something like AirRobe is potentially going to be better if you're looking to sell things. From a buyer's perspective, they all are kind of similar, and as long as there's buyer protection, you're kind of okay. And as long as it's quick enough, it's kind of all going to be very, very similar. Now, in terms of the actual condition of the things that came through, one question, of course, is the condition as described? Now, AirRobe can't be responsible for a seller misrepresenting the item, because sellers could theoretically do that. But a website could be responsible for ensuring there's buyer protection, which exists. Now, in my case, both the items are in the condition as described. There's nothing untoward about these. The condition is it's used, but it's in good condition. And there's nothing negative about it. All the leather is in perfectly fine condition. Zip's fine. The internals are perfectly okay. Same with the scarf. It is basically new here, so there's nothing negative to say about the scarf. It basically is as described, so I didn't need to go through the whole buyer protection system. It's perfectly fine. So in terms of my experience with AirRobe, it's been perfectly okay to buy from. I have no negative experiences purchasing things through them. I would try them out to sell things through, because everything has to be better than eBay. And I would definitely take a chance on AirRobe over going through eBay again, because it's terrible. So my experiences, overwhelmingly positive so far, nothing negative to say. Purchasing things through the website has been pretty seamless. So I hope this has given you a bit of an idea about how AirRobe functions, one of the potential alternatives for buying, selling, or renting used or pre-loved luxury items, clothes, accessories, bags, whatever, including jewelry and watches. It works pretty well. So I hope the video has been somewhat informative to you. If it has, it would be great if you click the like and subscribe buttons. And if you have any thoughts about alternatives or any experiences with this, drop those in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. In any case, thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.